Hello and welcome to the Gilbert and Singh podcast with me, George Gilbert, and my fellow partner in crime, Mr. Jas Singh. Guys, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to see you on each of our episodes to join us with those. Jas, can you introduce us to our guests?
Yes. We've got a special guest today. We've got Jeroen from DGrade. All right. Jeroen has a higher calling, as people say. I'll let Jeroen give a description because I don't want to, sound. Yeah. I want you to do justice to your own business. So please go on, give us a bit about yourself, Jeroen.
I would be sure you do it very well, Jas. Actually, but no, thank you for this, gentlemen, and lovely to be part of it. So to give you a bit of a small background on DGrade. Actually, my partner has been in the recycled fabrics, recycled garments since 2008. And a couple of years ago, we brought the whole business from the UK to the UAE. And right now we are focusing to basically generate plastic waste in the UAE and make clothing out of that. That is the very, very nutshell explanation of what DGrade stands for.
Brilliant. So,
is that happening right now in the UAE? Is that something that's happening? Is it recycling plastic? Are you making clothes already? Or is that something that's you've been doing that somewhere else and you're introducing it here?
Yeah, so my partner has basically been sourcing fabrics made from recycled plastics all over the world, mostly out of the Far East. Like I said, ever since 2008 and even before also when he was in the retail business. And then in 2015 he came with the crazy but very convincing plan, I think, for a green future.
I like it. I mean, you're wearing a t-shirt now.
Let's just for our listeners and our watchers, it says John, if you could just, there you go. Yep. Don't hate me because I am plastic. Yep. # simply bottles.
Yes. So would you know if you were wearing an ordinary t-shirt like this one or Jas's shirt versus what you're wearing now?
No.
Wow.
No, you can't feel it, and it's something that we can test out. Everybody's more than welcome in our new headquarters in Dubai Science Park to come and do the test. But I haven't come across anybody who could feel it.
And there's no issue with the t-shirts. I mean, when you wash clothes, it could shrink. Does that happen to this one as well? Or
so, of course, when you wash clothes, they shrink after a certain amount of time. But it happens less to polyester clothing than it does to cotton clothing. And in the end, for us, it's not only about doing this from plastic waste, but it's also to give a diversion of cotton, because cotton is not endless. Someday we will not have cotton anymore.
And I've heard, so when you wash cotton clothes, it takes, I think, 3 times more water to wash it and get a proper t-shirt out of it.
Correct.
Compared to what polyester does, which is a great initiative. I mean, like, you're right. So there are a few countries in the world that actually generate cotton nowadays. India is one of them, and that's it. Like, from this part of the world, you have to go further down to the Far East to get proper cotton. So that's a great initiative, and this has been going on for what you said, 12 years now.
Yeah.
So just a quick question: why are we going to run out of cotton? What's the reason for that? Do you know?
Well, if you want to crop cotton, then you need, of course, land. And you can only do that a certain amount of times. And then you can't basically do anything with the land anymore unless you dig a couple of meters deep, but really like a couple of meters.
Is that because it's chewing the nutrients? It's just taking the nutrients, and obviously various other methods are coming in and washing that away. Okay.
But what we should not forget also is that it starts from the fact that there is a lot of plastic waste today in the world. And instead of having it ending up in a landfill or in an ocean, we want to use that as feedstock and to make sure that we give a second life to all our plastic waste, which is one of the biggest problems today in the world.
And so for the plastic waste, is it just all kinds of plastic, or do you specifically focus on PET bottles, for example?
Yes, correct. So we focus on PET. PET today, very simple, is any water bottle, any fizzy drink bottle, any juice bottle. Now already we see a lot of milk bottles that actually are becoming PET. The thumb rule that we can use is if it is a bottle and it is, let's say, transparent, then you can be 90% sure that it's PET, and then we can use it. Not to forget also, in addition to that, the Deliveroo's and the Talabats of today use a lot of PET for their food packaging. So in the food packaging today also we see more and more PET coming, and we can all recycle that.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, COVID's not helped that situation as well, because you've had to use one-time plastics as well. Unfortunately, I think it's going to go on for another 6 to 8 months maybe. So has that helped or made your situation worse in terms of plastic use? Because look, what the idea is to stop people from using plastic as well, but also learn that there's better usage of the plastic itself rather than just throwing it.
Yeah, I think it's mainly the second thing, Jas. So plastic has been invented in the 1900s during the let's say first industrial revolution, and it's
everything.
It makes sense. We did a couple of tests. For example, you put a piece of cheese in your fridge. You don't use any plastic. After 24 hours, nobody touches it anymore. Then you put it in a plastic foil that you throw away. It would last for about 2 days. But you put it in a nice plastic, let's say, cover,
like a Tupperware.
Like a Tupperware, exactly, with a lid. You can keep it for 2 weeks. And the Tupperware, you can just wash it. You can use it again. So I think the second thing you said, Jas, is absolutely right. We need plastics. And it's just about how you and me treat it as soon as we have used it. Some of the plastics, yes, we can ban. Do we need plastic straws? No, we can live without. So there's some products that we can ban, but most of them is just about how you and me treat it, and that we don't throw it out of our car into the desert, into the sea. Yeah,
I think one of the biggest things that we've noticed here, we've had previous conversations on this podcast as well, is the culture in this country as well. It's more of a, we can throw it, it's fine. We don't care where it ends up. It's changing though. I mean, we've noticed so many people coming up. I think you guys have programs running around in your company as well, where you go to workplaces, schools, and run campaigns, teach them about plastic and what you can do with them.
I think the thing here is it's not enforced. In other countries, they've got 4 or 5 bins, and they're being told this has to go in here, or they're not going to come and collect your waste, and they'll fine you for that.
Yeah,
and I think that will come.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's funny. One of my friends mentioned today. He's like, the reason why I don't recycle, right, is because this country makes it do. It's not guilty. I don't feel bad about not recycling. Right? That's what he said. Literally word to word. He's like, if recycling was as easy as not doing it, I would be doing it every day. And I think that's such a massive thing. That I think one of the biggest problems you would face as DGrade is that as well, in terms of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and that's what Simply Bottles is all about. So that's our CSR campaign that we run in almost 200 schools today in the UAE. We also have corporate customers now, roughly 100 and counting. And then indeed we go in and we teach people that plastic is also a resource and that we can do something with it. And you're absolutely right, George. I think that if we start penalizing people for not recycling, that would be already a great thing, which is what happens today in Europe and in the US. And what we then try to set up from our side is that we're going to reward people here also for doing it. So we're setting up recycling points. People come there with their plastics. We're trying to create an app where then you get some kind of a reward point, and then you can use those rewards, for example, to buy sustainable t-shirts or polo shirts or caps from us again.
Perfect. No, I think it's a great idea. I really, really like it, and I fancy getting myself a t-shirt. And we've talked about getting a water dispenser to try and save the plastic, obviously, because then they just replenish the bottles. But we've been getting through a serious amount of 1.5 litre water bottles. So how many bottles do you need to recycle to get a t-shirt? As in, not from a points perspective, but how many do you need to recycle to make a t-shirt? Roughly.
And now we will surprise a lot of people, I think. Already with 3 to 4 500 ml bottles, we can make you a very simple t-shirt.
3 to 4 500 ml bottles, which are This big?
Yeah, the smaller ones, yeah.
The small 500... Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That's a simple t-shirt, and then it goes up to 10, 20 bottles if you want to make a backpack or a carrier bag. But roughly we need 2 bottles to make a cap, 2 to 3 bottles to make a cap, and a very simple t-shirt. Yeah, 3,
but that's
4
brilliant.
bottles.
I thought it would be so much more. I thought you'd be looking at least 10, 15 bottles just to make a cap or anything. But that's brilliant. It's just 2 bottles. So I've got about 6 bottles in my car right now. So I could have 3 caps.
They can fill your wardrobe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't need caps that much, but
might up your game on a night out as well with a better wardrobe.
that could work. So please do let me know where these drop-offs are. Right? I've got so many bottles in my car.
I mean, what a change that could make to the planet. I mean, there's a lot of changes going on anyway. There's a lot of recycling, and obviously the oceans is a big issue at the moment. So they're obviously bringing in those plastics. But I mean, that makes complete sense. I mean, there's people in the world that can't even clothe themselves.
Right.
So, it does surprise me that this isn't picking up pace quicker. Or is it? I mean, I don't know. Is it picking up pace now?
Well, if you look at it from a global point of view, there is indeed 1 or 2 companies in the world that are doing something similar like us. But there is no company in the world today that closes the loop from a bottle all the way down to a piece of garment, like what we are doing with an audited supply chain. And we're very proud of that.
Is there a lot of additives that need to go into it? I mean, a bottle will only create a certain amount, but is there a lot of mulch that goes into it, a lot of additives that go in there?
No, additives is quite okay, but the bottle itself, to properly wash it, that is a quite extensive process. So we have a washing line, and first the bottles go through the whole line 3 times to get them properly washed, and then we cut them into small pieces, and that actually is our raw material to then extrude that into fiber. Then it looks a little bit like how do you call that? Wool.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we spin that into yarns on a bobbin, and then we have the big rolls of fabrics, and that is our main product.
So just for our listeners, why do you have to wash your plastic bottles? Obviously, we know if they're contaminated, you can't recycle them. But is there any other reason than to just cleanliness? Is it?
Well, contamination for us is okay if you mean that if there is still some liquid inside, we can handle that. Yeah. So that is one of the reasons already why we have to wash the bottles extensively. And then on top of that, still 90 to 95% of all the bottles are having a label, and the label is glued.
Right. So it's the glue that you have to get rid of as well.
Correct.
So what about the labels? Obviously, once you wash them, what happens with the labels? Do you do something with the labels as well, or is it just a plastic bottle? Is it that's the tension?
So we've got a solution for the full bottle. The labels are actually being scraped off immediately before the bottles are going through the process, because we really want to get rid of those labels before we really start into our process. And we get them off, we pulverize them into mulch, and they can actually be used in the construction industry. So they can be used for pipes for the construction business, just as a small additive towards it, because the quantity is very, very small, because the weight of the label is almost nothing. And the caps is actually polyethylene or polypropylene, and it also goes through the whole process. We wash it, we flake it into small pieces, and we can do a lot of things with it. We can actually make any sort of rigid plastic with our caps. So think about furniture, tiles, helmets. We now are talking about a very interesting project of making wheelchairs from them. So sky is the limit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you've got plenty of avenues to go with that. I mean, so how's the business going to generate its revenue? I mean, are you talking to brands that may want to purchase the fibres and dispatch to their factories? I know obviously they pay very little to make these certain garments, but there will be certain companies that the recycling element is important to them moving forward as a brand. Are those discussions ongoing at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So to give you a couple of facts and figures, the general textile industry is that uses polyester is really going towards recycled polyester today, and many companies already have announced that they want to be 100%. Well, they want to use 100% recycled polyester by 2025. and some of them by 2030. So here we are talking already about big brands like Zara, Massimo Dutti, Under Armour, and so on and so on. So yes, ideally we would like to sell our fabrics, our rolls of fabrics, or our yarns to those multinationals.
So now let's talk about the costing as well. So is polyester a bit more expensive than normal clothing? Or is there not much of a difference in the pricing? Because I mean, that's the biggest definition of sustainable would be that you close every single loop. So if it's too expensive to do this, then who's really, my point here is, do you make sure that you put your prices down, or is it just a general thumb of rule? It's expensive.
No, prices down, not at all. So no, but I think we have a very fair pricing. We have to make two comparisons. So first, we're going to compare the virgin polyester with recycled polyester. So any dry fit today, any sport outfit, sporting clothes is already today is polyester. 90-95% of it is polyester, but it is virgin. So it's basically made directly out of oil. There we have a great alternative, because we can do exactly the same. We can make exactly the same piece of garment, but fully made out of recycled. There is a very small price gap. We're talking about a couple of percentages. And then if we're going to make the second comparison between cotton and recycled polyester, you have to calculate with a price difference of up to 20%, depending on the piece of garment that we make. But I think that you and me, in a couple of years, we don't have a chance anymore. We're going to be obliged to pay that little bit of extra to get at least a sustainable piece of garment.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I think we live in a world where it's price. Well, it's everywhere. I mean, this part of the world, I find, certainly being in my industry, price is super important.
Yeah. I mean, look, money runs the world, right? So
yeah, but we're forgetting the journey. We've got to realise where we are right now and where we've got to get to.
Well, that's the funny part. So it's funny you guys mentioned this. I don't know if you guys seen the new David Attenborough movie. So he's released it on Netflix. I think he joined.
Has that just come out? Is it?
Yeah. So just I think yesterday or day before.
Oh, okay.
So he joined Instagram, I think last week, and he broke the record of the most followers within 30 minutes of joining. So he's come out and said, "Listen, you've got to do this. I'm 93. I've done my part. I've shown you what we get. What's going to happen." But that's massive changes we were talking about. That's him saying, listen, you got to change policies. But we, as humans, also have to take small steps. And that's where someone like DGrade is such an interesting concept, because they're taking these small steps. Be like, listen, we're going to look at all of the consumers and not just the big brands. We want every single person to understand that there's life after what plastic's done.
Absolutely, and very much in comparison to what happened to Sir David.
Oh, Sir David.
Is that, and he's not even that good looking. So many followers in a couple of days. It surprised me, but now it's quite comparable. If I see, for example, in 2018 when we brought DGrade to the UAE, and you saw the reaction of people towards recycled clothing, and the fact that it was slightly more expensive. If I make the difference, the comparison today in 2.5 years, people are a lot more open up to it. And let's say we're in 2023, 2024, it's even going to go up. So I'm pretty confident about even the short-term future for us, because people are interested.
So you think you think COVID has helped that? Because obviously COVID's happened, and then people's gone, a lot of things are happening in the world. We need to start focusing. You think that's helped your cause as well?
I think it has, because we even started to realize more about our health and also about the future of our planet, of ourselves, but also of the planet. And you spoke about it already. There has been way more single-use plastics in the past couple of months because of COVID. Because people use it and they throw it away. For us, it's not a bad thing actually, because it's a raw material for us. Right. So we'll give it a second life, no worries. So for us, so far, COVID has not really hit us in a very bad way. Although that we have not sold as many garments and yarns and fabrics as we wanted to, because of course a lot of budgets were cut, and then people are not looking into spending more money.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? Are you stockpiling the yarn that you've got and ready for distribution to manufacturers of clothing. I would say that's probably a sensible thing to do, is just keep stockpiling. But then again, obviously storage costs money. So
so something like that, exactly. So we're setting up our washing and recycling factory right now in the UAE for the plastics. There is some kind of washing line already on ground here, but for other kind of purposes. So we have used that installation to already run all our Simply bottles to process them. We've exported them already, and we have already here now clothing and rolls of fabrics here in stock. And I haven't actually informed you guys about it, but one of the companies that we stock for is Expo 2020, because DGrade has the license to produce their merchandising.
So in terms of the clothing, with what the staff are going to wear?
Many things. So we've already got a couple of samples on shirts and polo shirts and caps that individuals can buy as merchandising, and those will all be fabricated by DGrade. But of course, it doesn't limit us to merchandising only. Why not also dress the staff uniforms?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. So what sort of size operation do you need in order to get something like this going? I mean, obviously you've kicked off here. I mean, are we talking a 10,000 square foot warehouse with cleaning facilities and everything? I mean, that's a big outlay of cost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tell me about it. No. We have about 4,000 square meters where we will have our washing and flaking, processing, recycling line from start to bottom. So there we start with the bottle and we go all the way up to PET flakes. If we talk numbers, I'll give you a couple of interesting numbers. So there is about almost 4 billion bottles of PET bottles being produced in the UAE a year. 4 billion.
4 billion in UAE alone?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Almost.
That's more than half the world's population.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you're right.
World's population is 7 point something, right? 7.4 or 7.5, I think. In UAE, 4 billion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the people that are listening. This is my really surprised voice of tone where the girly high pitch comes out.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, roughly, somewhere around, 12 million bottles a day? Yeah, something like that.
So how does the waste process work? I know, Jas, you're in the waste management side of things. So how does it work? I'm always curious. So, very typical lazy individual, pack it into my bag and I just go straight to the chute outside and off it goes, and I've no idea where it goes. Does it go to a sorting plant? Are they sorting stuff out and picking out certain things? I don't know. How does it work?
I think I'm going to let Jeroen take the lead on this one first. I'll butt in a little bit. You've already heard my views. I'm not happy about the situation in the buildings where people, again, even if you go downstairs, I've got about 250 bottles on my balcony right now. But again, the problem is I don't want to go downstairs one by one and put them back into the system. So I think that's one problem already. And the second one is Dubai is a learning country, so they're still learning in terms of how they want to position themselves. I think that will change, as Jeroen said earlier.
But is there any is there any sorting, or does it just go to landfill? Yeah. I was more talking about that side of things. What's happening when it leaves this building? I know.
They've got. Look, Dubai's got one of the biggest e-waste recycling centers in the world here. So they've got massive machines where they sort all kinds of different waste streams. So there's a lot of sorting. So once it goes to the recycling plant, I think, Jeroen, you can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a manual process where they separate the plastic bottles and all of this. They separate the metals, and then it goes through a sorting machine where ferrous metals are separated and non-ferrous metals are separate. So ferrous metals are your magnets and all of this, right? So they separate this, and then once it goes to another sorting machine to separate. So you keep separating it till a point where it becomes granules. I think that's generally the consensus of how they work here, which shouldn't be the process, but like I said, slow
developing.
progress.
It's getting there.
Yeah, there's many steps to be taken right now here in general. So yes, there are sorting facilities today where basically all municipal waste go to, and then there the recycled materials are being separated from the wet waste, the organic waste, let's say, the food waste. And where we already see a very interesting development right now is that we have dry sorting facilities coming up. So basically there is only the metals, the glass, the cardboard, the plastics, that all goes there. It's getting properly separated, and then people like us are going to take the plastics from them. There's also a very interesting company here who takes the cardboard. I don't know right now what happens with the glass because it's a very, very difficult business today. And of course here with all the scaffolding business in the UAE today, the metals, that is no problem.
Yeah, but again, it's like I said, Dubai is a very young country when it comes to waste management. So they're still learning. I think initiatives like DGrade, that's fact that they support these kind of things is a massive thing for the UAE anyway, which in turn I think, which is funny you bring this up anyway. We were going to talk about this. We brought this up I think a couple of podcasts ago about collaborations, and so obviously Dubai is collaborating with you, and I've heard you collaborating with a lot of local fashion brands here as well. Yep. Small startup fashion brands.
Absolutely. Yep.
Again, I know this from personal experience because my girlfriend, she's worked with you guys before. Yeah. So which I thought is incredible that you guys are giving back out to the society as well.
Yeah, and it's great that we have small startups also again supporting the greater cause. Yeah. And then just to finish on the segregation and the separation. I heard you saying, George, something about separating at source. And that is really where it is key. You and I grew up, I assume, back in the UK.
Yes.
Me in Belgium, with a black bin, a red bin, a yellow bin, a green bin, and I knew where to put the glass, where to put the wet waste, and so on and so on. We do not have that here. For us, the solution of Simply Bottles really is segregating at source, making sure that we go into schools and that the bottles end up in our recycling bins that we support them with, and then we go and take it from there. So it doesn't need to go through any MRF or through any sorting facility or whatever. I just gave you the very intriguing number of, let's say, give or take 4 billion bottles a year. I'm going to give you another number, but that's a bit more critical one. Only 6% of that is today being diverted from the landfill. Well, let's say recycled.
No.
Wow, that's staggering. No. That's a huge number.
Let's even say 10%, all the rest ends up in landfill.
Wow. That's such a shame. Sorry, I wanted to say that with sincerity. No, it is a massive shame.
I felt the pain in George and your oh, that's a shame. Yeah, no, but that's a staggering number. Just 10% of
6.
6. He said, let's go ballpark figure. Okay, 6 to 10%. Let's try to make it nice. 10%, right? But that's still mad. Oh, it shouldn't be 10%. No. So what?
I think the thing is, okay, villas, for example, it's I think you can manage that easier. You can replicate what's happening in Europe and having different bins. But apartment blocks, that's when it becomes to building management. That's where something needs to be done. I think there are bins down in the car park here, but I mean, I personally, I'll hold my hand up, I've never used them, and we're not kind of directed into doing that. Yeah. So I mean, now I've heard of your concept. I feel like I want to be collecting these bottles and dropping them off, and then
and we'd be very happy to get them, George. Really, and now I think that the solution is indeed also with facility management companies who are managing properties today, who should also get pushed to get into recycling and to set this up with several bins. But like I said before, today you don't get penalized for not doing it, nor getting rewarded for doing it. The reward part is something that we can do as a private company, of course, with the support of the government, both federal and local, and they're actually very, very supportive of this. So I'm sure that within a short amount of time, we'll be having a couple of very intriguing solutions. For example, we can put a small reverse vending machine at the supermarkets. For example, you go there, you take your bottles, you put them in the machine, you get some kind of reward points, and you can use them then in the supermarket.
I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to incentivize people, otherwise they're not going to do it at all.
Well, I mean that's generally pretty much what we try to do as well at Reed. I think you were the first ones I spoke to when we wanted to launch the platform. Obviously, we've changed a lot since I spoke to you, because when I went in, we were still young. But that's what we want to do as well. It's to focus on source.
Yep.
So there's a saying, it's a famous saying. So, you teach a man, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, and you teach a man how to fish, he'd eat every day. Right? So you teach the person how to segregate the waste. What I've noticed, this again, so you come from Belgium, you're from the UK. What happens is, when you come from these countries, you're excited, you want to do this, but then you stay long enough and you think, you know what, if he's not doing it, why should I do this as well? So might as well just carry on with I think that's one of the things that we need to change, is that thought process where go, no, you know what, let's take this down, do a bin that you've provided, for example, which should be an initiative, like you said, from the FMs, hopefully soon.
Yeah, fully agree. But also, to be honest, the waste management companies here today in the UAE are also really focusing on this, and we're actually collaborating with almost all of them, and feedback is very positive. And we're setting up now a very intriguing collection system for all the schools and companies that we work with. But yes, we've been looking at private villas, we've been looking at apartment blocks, and it is still a little bit of a grey zone, but we'll get there.
And is there competition for the plastic waste? Do you have people that are racing you, jokingly, racing you to the waste facilities and saying, I want this portion of waste? Is there huge competitors?
No, not really, not yet. Of course, plastic is a resource, and we will be getting more competitors, of course, because you can also recycle your plastic to use again for plastics. A part of our output of our processing facility will also end up back into the plastic industry, which is great, because there then again we create a circular economy, and it's again very, very positive for the UAE. So there are other people who are into that. In the region, let's say GCC, it still needs to come up more, but today in Europe it's big, and also in the past, plastic waste and metal waste was being exported from Europe in huge quantities into the Far East. Today, that's a no-go, because most of the countries in Southeast Asia plus India have all banned the import of waste, because they first want to solve their domestic problem.
Yeah. So that 6% figure that you threw out, is that, so they're obviously sorting everything. So that 6 to 10%, is that because yourselves and other companies that want to take that plastic waste are only able to take 6 to 10%, or is that the fact that it's just that, all this waste is actually in some cases diverting the sorting process and is just going to landfill?
There you go, and it's also purely about the contamination. So a lot of this material will pass by sorting facilities. There are also not enough sorting facilities today, so we are absolutely in need of more efficient sorting facilities on ground here, and I'm really talking about thousands of metric tons per day. But there is a business. I cannot believe that in a couple of years the UAE will not be able to attract global companies to come and set up here and take a part of this as well.
Absolutely.
But slowly we're getting somewhere. So
you mentioned earlier when you said is there competition, right? I mean, there's 6 billion bottles. I think a competition should be 4 billion bottles, sorry. 6%. 6%. Yeah, 6%, sorry. Yeah, I think there should be competition, right? I think there should be more companies coming up with ideas to close this loop and help. So this is where the collaboration part comes in as well. At the end of the day, the market's the waste market is too massive for one company to control. So it has to be a collaborative effort from all of these companies and say, listen, we're going to stop this. We're going to work on this, and we're going to make sure that this is not going to happen. If you don't, then unfortunately, what happens is I'm stepping on your shoe, on your toes, and I'm gonna. You don't want to be doing that.
That's what I was feeling just now when you were saying this. No. Absolutely, I agree. There has to be competition, just because we have to pull up those numbers. We have to make sure that we recycle way more. Yeah. I'm from Belgium, and in Belgium, I think the official recycling rate is at least 50%. I know it's more, but it's at least 50%. Wow. That means of anything, so including also wet waste, which is being composted then again. that. We were just talking about these reverse vending machines. I think it is Norway. In Norway, 70% of the metro fares are paid by plastic bottles.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
There you go. In every metro station, there's a machine. People are taking plastic bottles from home. They put in, let's say, 10, 20 bottles. Boom, they get their metro ticket. That's a circular economy, guys.
Yeah, that's clever. That's clever. And so in terms of your facility, capacity-wise, are you sort of screaming out for more plastic waste?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're not running anywhere near where you could potentially
we
be
need
running.
way more. We need more. We need that 6%, 10%, whatever it is. We need that to be built up heavily.
So the higher that goes, the better that is for. Like I said, competition's good because what it does is it gives you a chance to work with each other instead of
and to encourage the government to.
I think that's the biggest
things.
part. Is more companies come up with this, right? More companies come up with solutions from the UK, from Belgium, wherever. Even local based. I have a designer. I think he's I forget his name because I'm not really sure how to pronounce the Arabic thing, but he does this as well. He picks up plastic bottles and he works with, for example, a company like DGrade, where he goes and gives it to them and says, "Listen, I need, I need yarn from you guys, or I need this for this." That encourages the government to go, you know what? If he's doing this, then maybe we should also start focusing, start getting our policies, increase the price of dumping waste.
Correct.
Maybe illegally. So you got so many scavengers in the bins as well. Maybe stop there. Again, these are small changes. These are small steps that you can take personally as well, rather than just.
I think the influence of COVID is on the how do they call it? It's the price that you pay to dispose your waste. It has been a long day, so that was actually going to increase, I think, with 300 or 400%, and then because of COVID, that was actually frozen. So I think it will come down next year. Tipping fees, is what they're called.
Oh yeah,
They're now 10 dirhams, I think. And they were going to be 100 dirhams.
Wow.
Then they pulled it down and said it's going to be 50 or 60. And I think right now it's still about 10 dirhams. So it has to be pulled up. But it will. It will be.
Well, like I said, UAE is a very young country in terms of waste management. The good thing is Dubai is a very quick learner.
Yeah, it's rapid.
It's rapid. So when they said we want to do this, it has to be done yesterday. So that's always a good thing about UAE.
There is a Ministry of Climate Change here in the UAE. So I know for a fact that nor in Belgium nor in the Netherlands we have that. So we have it in here in the UAE. So that's absolutely fantastic. And really, they're also focusing on the plastic recycling and the policies towards recycling, penalizing people for not doing it, helping us to reward people for doing it. So I would be very I'm very ecstatic to see where we will be. Let's say in 18 to 24 months, because it's going to be a complete difference.
Yeah, I hope it really does work out for you guys. So what's the marketing strategy then? How are you going to get that out? Because I've never heard of this. Mm-hmm. I know before we kicked off, you said that you're a marketing lady. Was that correct in saying that? Yeah. So hopefully she's building all these huge campaigns ready to rock and roll. Yeah. Give us a high level kind of marketing strategy in terms of being able to get your offering out to the marketplace.
I think as a start, we need the big FMCG companies to support us. So we're talking about the Unilevers, the Nestles, the PepsiCos, the Coca-Colas of today. Exactly. And I must say that we get also very, very good support of the local water brands. My Dubai, to name one actually. They find this a really important topic because in the end, these companies are having a lot of plastic waste and or also, indirectly, directly, how you want to call it, contributing to the problem. So we expect them also to be part of the solution, which they want to be. So we will work it out. We'll work it out with, for example, reverse vending machines. Like we said, we are now in almost 200 schools. It's a very heavy job. We've got 3 people on our team. We're going in and out every day into schools, talking to corporates. And we do need these large FMCG entities to support us on that so that we can roll our plans out together with them.
And have you entered into discussions with these people that... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Well, at least it's heading in the right direction.
We've already made products for most of the companies that I just named. May it be just a range of caps or T-shirts, polo shirts, backpacks. made a lot of those products already here.
Well, I mean, small steps better than no steps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you're in the right direction. So that's a good thing.
That was what I was going to ask. It just escaped me then, the question actually. So vending machines, I mean, there's a cost associated with that, which falls back on you guys. Is there no way that can be, is there no way that can be subsidised by the government because you're encouraging that? I mean, are they discussions that are going on because these are straight off your bottom line? You're doing something fantastic, but it's a heavy cost if people aren't willing to sort of do their part, and us as individuals contributing to plastic waste.
This is one of the perfect examples where we need the support of the FMCGs because they can finance that. Yes, indeed. Yes, these reverse vending machines are quite costly, but you can use them for at least 8 to 10 years, and it's a very, very small part of the marketing budgets of all these FMCG companies.
Yeah,
I mean, look, in Australia, I think once you put a plastic bottle in there, you get 10 cents. I think you put aluminium can's 10 cents. I think plastic bottle is 50. I think. But this is a government initiative, right? So
there you go. Yeah.
So that's a massive difference in terms of
they're really chipping in because what we could give as a value, I think, is roughly would be around 1 fill for a bottle, for example. Yeah. So
but see, that's the thing. I don't think it should be. It doesn't have to be just monetary though. You could give them something else as well. So, for example, you give 6 bottles of empty bottles to you. I get 1 full bottle of water. All right. Correct. It doesn't have to be a plastic bottle. It can just be these metal bottles that you have, and you just fill them up for them. For some of these people, that's massive. If you go in construction sites or labor camps, this would be a massive thing because they want this, right? They want someone to pay for their food, where then they could send money back home. So again, are these initiatives that you think could be interesting as well?
Yeah, no doubt. It's very important to give something in return, although the numbers are slightly different. Because I think right now, roughly, you guys understood that the process for us is quite extensive. So we can't really connect a very big value to a bottle. Like I said, let's say roughly a fill, and that would already be quite high in comparison to the waste rates today going on. I think that would already be around 3 to 4 times more than the actual value of the waste. But we're very much open to do that. And again, we'll need government support, but I think they're ready to step in. I'd really like to see where we are in a couple of months of now, because there's a couple of important discussions going on there that I cannot talk about that right now. It's still in a confidential phase. But in general, the support here right now of a couple of ministerial departments is really, really positive. Yeah.
Great. Well, no, I wish you guys all the best. So for anybody that's listening to this, is there anyone in particular? I mean, you never know. This could hit anybody. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking for? I mean, how do these guys find you? How do they approach you?
Well, yeah, they can contact me, of course. I would say have a look at our renewed website. It's just very simple: www.DGrade.com. DGrade.com. And then reach out to us. And if you got any plastic, as soon as you got certain number, certain weight, we'll come and collect it, and we'll make something nice for it.
So how's the app going? Because obviously that's going to help with organising collections. And what is the weight? What is it? What are we talking about? A black sack, a 50-litre black sack, for example, of bottles, or do we need to be doing? Probably where I was going with that, I was thinking more of a localised level with me. But you're probably thinking I'm not going to come and just pick up your bag,
Yeah,
George.
I'm not going to come pick up your empty bag.
It's about 10 of those garbage bags.
Okay.
To make it efficient to come and collect it, because again, there's a huge cost related to it. We collect at about from 10 of these full bags, which is roughly around 40 to 50 kg.
Right. Okay. So actually, well, I think what I would produce, I'd probably produce that in about 3 months. I mean, I'm getting through 2 1.5 litre bottles before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I mean, you could
There you
schedule pick up every 3 months then.
No,
Yeah.
or we set up community collection points. That's really where we need to go to, because a lot of people cannot hold on to these
Of course.
to these kind of volumes for a longer time. We're also now trying to set something up with F&B retail outlet shops, and they prefer to use their storage room for products that they can sell, of course, not for waste. Although, of course, they will do whatever they can. But for them, we have to create some kind of collection points. But that will come as well.
Do you think it's an image thing? I mean, I was just thinking then, imagine me just sort of my big black sack and, over my shoulder,
I'm
just
so
heading
happy.
down to Marina Mall there thinking, whoa, and everyone's thinking, what's he got in there?
I'm so happy you finished that sentence.
Could have gone anywhere, knowing me.
I was like, oh no, George, please don't do it. I was going to beep you right there.
Yeah, but it's in here. It's also seen it to be seen, and maybe not everybody would indeed do that. I would do it. I'm happy that you say you do it.
I'd do it, but okay.
There you go. But no, that's why we need to come with solutions. We need to make it easy for
People to
individuals
resell. Yeah.
here to make sure that it is separated at source and that it comes straight to us. And we are very closely working with waste management companies to do that. But like you said before, facility management companies or the EMARs, the DAMACs, the NAKILs of today, also to implement this into their buildings. When they're
building when they're coming up with the buildings, they should have these plans beforehand. So this is what we tried doing with. I'm not going to name the project. We tried doing for a small community here. We tried setting up collection points just so the fact that listen, when you build this, have this there, have a plan ready so that we can help you streamline your process.
But what about independent shoots? I mean, that's quite a sizable shoot that we have in most of the apartment blocks. What about 4 of them?
Let's just only use it for wet waste.
Yeah.
Just put all your food waste into that shutter, and then that's all we do. And then we put a couple of different bins down there, mainly for plastic, because it's not that you're going to have a lot of glass or a lot of metal. You'll maybe have a little bit of cardboard. And I think cardboard, and that's what today is happening in most of the big apartment blocks in Belgium, you just have a big cage downstairs somewhere in the parking where you have to put your cardboard, because you maybe have a box once in a while, but you just have a separate bin for plastic. Maybe 2 shutters, separate plastic shutter. Yeah, I would.
I think the thing is, I think the only way this is going to work is if it's enforced, if I'm honest.
It'll definitely be a huge step. Yes, I do agree.
I think it will happen. I think it needs to happen. I think it's the only way to get people to do it. We're lazy, aren't we?
By the stick. Yeah, but that's see, this is where we go back to the start of the conversation where we said the culture change is this. Dubai makes everything easy for you.
Yeah, there you go.
This digital world.
Everything. So you've got your taxi ordered. You can order food online. You can get your booze delivered here. Everything is easy. So when you have to get away from there, you go, I don't want to do this. Why do I need to do this? So it's like I said, small steps in the right direction, better than no steps at all. So
and there's always room for improvement. We can implement something, and we have to just keep on analyzing it. A good example would be for people who own buildings, building management companies, for example, also that they would charge more service fee for the owners if there is no recycling in the building. And I can assure you guys that any tenant will get into recycling immediately, because the owner, if he needs to pay more service fee,
it's coming from him.
Then the rent will go up as well. Right? So that's when we are getting into people's pockets. Indeed, George, that's when we're really going to make a difference. I do agree with you. And another example there is, for example, in Europe, there are a couple of countries there that, like in Italy, any bottle produced in Italy has to have at least 30% recycled content. If bottle producers do not do this, then they are getting 100% extra taxed. I can tell you their profits are not 100%. It's a couple of percent. So they have to do it. There is no other way. But if they have to do it, also, you need to have the sourcing, the local sourcing. So that's why the government is enforcing all these rules and regulations.
Josh, you need to get your business set up quick.
Well, I know.
I agree.
So no, the thing is, we've just launched 3 prototypes recently. It get people testing for it, see how they respond to it, and see which one. And then, so this is a conversation me and Jeroen are going to have afterwards, off camera. But yeah, no, that's why I said this is what we wanted to do as well. It's focus more on helping you. All right, so we don't have the means to do what you're doing, which is do the whole process and everything. What we want to do is help you streamline that process from the back end. All right, so hopefully the prototypes come out nice. People like it. If they do, then fingers crossed, no issues. Then we do launch. But again, that's a small step. That's one of the steps that we can take. But it's not easy.
I know it's very challenging, man. I mean, my job starts at the back end.
Yeah,
right? So that's where we get the balls from.
Oh, so, man.
It's a headache, man.
Glad you said bottles.
Yeah, because well, no, I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, "Listen, I've got issue with this." I'm like, "Oh, come on, are you serious? You can do this." It's not even live yet. It's not easy. Yeah. But again, if it was easy, then.
Everybody would do it.
Yeah,
there you
absolutely.
go, Jess. So yeah, that's the idea behind it for us as well. I mean, it has been 2.5 very challenging years here for us in the UAE, and before that, even my partner had many more challenging years. I actually have to say partners because I've got 2 partners. They're married, so Kris and Emma Barber, and we're a great team, and I'm very proud of it. And we can, I think we can handle many challenges.
So the marketing lady listening to this goes, "Dick, Jeroen, well done, right?"
Name dropping, fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing is stick with it. I think you've got a very, very nice idea there, and I think you just got to be patient and just go with the flow. And I think it'll come good. I definitely think it'll come good for sure.
Inshallah.
One of the things we like to do at the end of a podcast is ask if you have any questions for us, or is there anything that you want to add that we perhaps haven't asked that you would like people to know?
Well, he's not Joe Rogan.
It looks a bit like Joe Rogan. That's unfortunate. That could have really impacted our followers.
That would have been a nice check, actually.
Talking about plastic
like
bottles
1 hour.
with Joe Rogan.
What do I want to ask? Oh yeah, I've got so many things to ask. But what would be nice, maybe if we could ask the listeners whether they would be interested into home recycling, for example. Well, that would be interesting data for me, because we can also use today residents here, individuals, to push the facility management companies and to push the building management companies towards recycling. Yeah. That would be interesting for me. Questions for you guys. I think roughly I know what I need to know. I like your positive attitude, both of you. It's really nice to get this kind of feedback, and it also pushes us again to bang on the next day, which is for sure going to be challenging again.
Well, look, I'm coming for you, right? So you better keep moving. And I'm joking. I've got one last question for you, Jeroen. One last question, all right? This is the crux of the conversation, right?
All right, bring it on.
Dutch waffles or French toast? Which one is it?
Wait, man. Dutch waffles do not exist.
It's like when I said chuck a shrimp on a barbie to an Aussie. They said, no, we don't even put shrimps on the barbie.
So waffles or French
Belgian
toast?
waffles. Belgian waffles. So the Dutch don't do waffles. The Dutch actually are not very well known for their kitchen, so let's forget about it. So I'm half Dutch, half Belgian. Belgian waffles or French?
French toast. Yeah.
French toast. No, Belgian waffle. Well, Belgian chocolate.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Very good.
Yes. I like that one. But please, if you guys have any questions, please
stick them in the comments.
And yes, and if you're interested in a recycling program for your building, please reach out in the comments again. We will share.
We'll put this on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's got a nice organic reach. So actually, the poll that you're talking about, that could be something for LinkedIn. I'll take a little snippet and we'll stick that on. But guys, just to reiterate what I said at the start, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you on the next podcast. Jeroen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board. Thank you very much. And Jas, thank you for inviting Jeroen along.
Yeah, and maybe also mention our page on Instagram at DGrade Clothing and the hashtag Simply Bottles.
Perfect. What we'll do is in the post we'll stick those in there so everybody can click on those and refer to them. Yeah,
what I'll do is I'll tag you in all my Instagram feed, not all of it, but specific to the podcast, and then we can. And any questions, please. We would love to know what you guys think about this podcast. Leave a review, and thank you. And
also,
so much.
if you want to be on it, also let us know.
Yeah, but it's a very heavy process. So
yes.
I'll think it over.
It's as extensive as Jeroen's cleaning process in the bottles, right? So.
It was great being here, gentlemen, really, and thank you for the positive
Thank you,
attitude.
Jeroen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Wishing you all the best.
Thanks, gents.